What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Creative Culture. This is Nehemiah, and today, my beautiful wife is not with me. She's behind the camera today. Today, I have a very, very special guest. She's actually our first guest of the podcast since Ashley and I started to do this thing together. I'm gonna read it because if not, I will mess it up. She is a singer, a songwriter, a worship artist, content creator. She is about her fashion. She's a founder of Lives Depend on It. Also, you're from Florida, but you're currently in Los Angeles. Please give it up for Trinity Anderson. How you doing?
I feel so good. I'm excited to see him.
You are the first guest, and
that's so cool.
We're excited. Yeah,
it's like history.
We purposely I told Ashley I just didn't want to have for our first guest. I didn't want to just have anybody. I feel like everything we need to do is with a purpose. And I was like, I think I know who it is. And Ashley was like, I said it. She's like, look, she was on the list.
Wow.
That as one of the first guests that I wanted to have. So just for people who don't know you, just share a little bit about who Trinity is.
So yes, as you already said, singer, songwriter, all the good things. I think what sticks out most about me is probably my love for the Lord.
Yeah.
I kind of lead with that. I know we were just talking about it, but I lead with that in everything I do. And it's one of those out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so, through all of the gifts, singing, writing, yes, I love my fashion, entrepreneuring and all that good stuff, girl boss or whatever. I just like to represent Jesus in all I do and in whatever capacity that looks like, So I grew up in the church. My dad is a pastor, so I'm a PK. Church of God in Christ, to be exact.
Okay. Shout out to the PKs.
Yes, all the PKs. And and then I moved into worship leading kind of later in life. As I was just in school. I went to school for music, and of course, and then
you went to school for music?
I did.
What?
I did in high school. It was like a joint program, in high school. And so I studied vocal performance.
What?
So we did a little bit of musical theater, a little bit of dance in there. So I'm like all things girly creative side of everything.
That's so cool.
And then I as my love for the Lord kind of grew, then I began to focus in on what actually leading worship looks like versus just like leading the song, So that evolved into me traveling the world with, so many different artists and dignitaries or what have you, which was an honor and still is. But I have shifted now into my own personal ministry. So as you said, a worship artist on my own. I've released a little bit of music, some features.
We need some more. We need some more.
I know. It's crazy because I'll write for everybody else and then not myself. But I have a lot of features out, and I have a Christmas single and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to what's next.
What so you would say the church is what got you into your music, the love for music writing and singing?
Well, I used to want to be Beyonce. So,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like so many people do. But at least singers, like female singers. But yeah, I think what I mean when I say that is just, wanting to be like famous for all the wrong reasons kind of thing. But now I have no desire to be anybody's famous. Now I just kind of want to sing because I love, that's my passion, like music and stuff.
Isn't it crazy that like once you say I don't want to be famous,
right?
That's when God's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna now expose you because like what was it last week? You were just singing in a stadium. You were leading worship in a stadium. That's crazy. I was like, how like. I think the biggest I've ever been in front of playing drums was like 2000. I'm shaking. I'm like, how does this happen?
You know what's the funny thing is that the more people, the less nervous actually. Yeah. It's the smaller scenarios and more intimate scenarios where I'm like, ooh, let me make sure I get everything right, But also with that specifically, I had been traveling with Pastor Sarah for a while, so being able to do that on a larger scale, we were kind of already in the flow.
You already know what you're doing. Yeah. How long have you actually been leading worship for?
So let's see, I'm 31. So probably since I was at least 18 or 19. Wow. Yeah, so I think we're 10 years plus maybe.
So that's why you lead just the way you lead.
Yes, it evolved though. It did, because I didn't start off knowing what I'm doing, and really being able to like steward a congregation well. Because like I said before, there's a difference between just being able to lead the song, but also being a worship leader is being a shepherd, and you're wanting to like lead the sheep to where you're going, to where the Lord wants to go. And so, yeah, I think that kind of grew over time. The more I got involved with some other worship leaders, had some mentorship, and when I want to learn something, I go study my craft. Like I just find whoever I want to
Yeah.
sit up under and and kind of just grow in that.
That's so cool that you look for those,
Yeah.
like you search for it. I feel like sometimes, I feel like right now, in the culture that we live in,
Mhm.
especially, um, I say 25 and under,
Mhm.
maybe even 26 and under, they try to just do everything on their own. And
Yeah. Self-made.
yeah, it's that I did it, no one
Yeah.
held to me. But I think to me, when you go and like you said, you study the craft. Not
Mhm.
only do you study it, but you go and then sit under somebody,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, let this person pour into me the good, the bad, the ugly. When
Yeah.
they're like, hey, listen, you were a little too cocky today. You were not singing
Yeah.
like
No,
you.
that's
That
real.
was you. That wasn't the Holy Spirit. That
That's
run was all
real.
about you.
Ooh, that's real.
And
Yeah.
to me, I think that shows that shows to me more who you are
Mhm.
than anything else, because a lot, like, I don't get how people can like go out there and like
Yeah.
why. I tell Ashley all the time, like we've been into some churches. I'm like,
Yeah.
this ain't it. She can sing or
It
he can
ain't
sing,
it, but yeah,
but it's like
sense the
there's
same.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Why do you lead the way you lead? I think last week I was
Mhm.
telling you. I think I had told you, I was like, there's something about the way that you lead,
Yeah.
um, on the platform, on stage, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
that like not a lot of people have. There's a tons of worship leaders, and
Mm.
there's some incredible ones that we can name
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, of
There's some
course.
that are on Air One, Caleb, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of them that are on tour right now that are going on tour,
Right.
but there's something different about your worship.
Mm.
Like I told you, like me and Ashley were talking about, there's a purity. There's
Mhm.
something like that's just pure when you sing. I mean, last Sunday when you sang "Goodness of
Oh,
God,"
goodness of
listen, I
God.
was just, how about this? I was editing it to my hard drive last night because I was
Are
like,
you
I need to
serious?
empty the memory
Oh,
cards.
we were editing.
Yeah, and then I was, for some reason, it was just the ending part, and I was like, "Ooh, Jesus!" So, like, yeah, we actually were
No,
like,
I
"Oh my
know.
goodness!" Like, so where does that come from? Because I feel like it has to come from somewhere. Like, it's just, yeah,
Right.
like,
That's such a
yeah,
complex question because I don't, yeah, I feel like I've lived a lot of life. I have made a lot of mistakes and I carry all of that. And on top of that, I'm so aware that I need the Lord, that
mm,
I cannot do anything without him. And I genuinely believe every word that I'm saying. So having lived a lot of life, now I'm singing these words about the goodness of God, right? For
get the
example,
house.
I mean, the words just they slapped me off the page because I have lived, I mean, lived in God's goodness. And in that moment, what were we singing? What was at the end? I will sing of the goodness and the faithfulness and the
Yeah,
kindness
yeah,
and the
yeah,
grace
yeah,
and mercy. I feel like because I've like listened to it a couple times, but I've also like just
yeah.
remembered it was in that moment that I was literally remembering. No, he wasn't just good. He was faithful. He was merciful. He was this. He was that. And I don't know. It just came out, and that happens a lot, when I'm leading because I'm just like I'm getting fresh reality and revelation like as I'm ministering, and then not just from my life, but I'm able to see other people's lives as well and be able to like reach them in that deep place too. And just I don't know. I just it's heart connecting to heart and spirit connecting to spirit. And so I don't know. I
Yeah.
know that it's only the Lord, and yeah, I do my best to just be submitted to whatever and just let it flow out from that
Yeah.
place.
I
Yeah.
think I think last Sunday was probably one of my favorites of you
Man, yeah,
leading,
me
just
too.
especially
Yeah.
that one part, because I it's hard, right? Because
Yeah.
I have a camera, and it's
Yes.
like
You're supposed
I
to
can't
be.
sing a lot because you're, listen, I sing, everybody running out, and I'm like, we ain't doing that, I make a horrible noise, not a joyful noise. That's what I tell
Uh-oh.
people,
So
and I'm like recording, and I'm like, I'm about to throw this camera on the
Woo.
floor and just cry,
And just cry, yeah.
because it's like, and that's hard for
Yeah.
me. I'm a worshiper at heart,
Yeah.
like. You see me sometimes. I have one hand up while I'm holding the camera,
Right,
because
trying
it's
to,
like it's
yeah.
just there's something
No,
like
I get
I
that.
love worship because, like you said, I know what God did for me.
Right.
Like, and when
Ugh.
I think the moment that you lose what God did for you
Right.
is the moment you lose who you are.
Exactly.
Because it's like, I remember, like, I was sharing, like, we were talking, I was like, the reason why you had said you love, like, I love a certain way. And I was like, the reason why I love is because, like, we've been through it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember us getting married.
Yeah.
But a few months before I was getting married, I lost my job.
Oh.
I lost, and then we get married. I'd lose our house.
Oh.
Then we lose our car.
What a testimony.
And then we find out that she's pregnant while all this is going on.
Yeah.
Like, she gets married. We get married in what, 3 months later, I think. She's then pregnant. And then we're like, yo, we're about to live on the street. Because I can't get a job.
Whew.
So it's like, well, that's why I love my wife, because she could have left at that moment.
Yep.
That's why I love the way I love. But that's why also I worship the way I worship. Mm-hmm. Anytime I get a chance to go and help on drums anywhere, that's why I play the way I play. Yep. Because I remember even the words that were given to me. I remember this lady. I'll never forget what she said. Wow. This was when I first started playing drums. This was, I was what, 13?
Early on.
I was 13, 14. Mm-hmm. She said, when you hit the cymbals, the chains fall. But when you hit the toms, the chains break. Ooh. And ever since she said that, I have told Ashley I will never touch drumsticks for anything else than God. And there's times where I have been asked to go play at some stuff, and I'm like, this money looks. Now. I told her, I told her, this money look right. It's gonna bounce us back for the next 3-4 months. Like, this looks nice. Yes. But then immediately the conviction, God would be like, the Holy Spirit would be like, oh, you gonna take it? And I'm like, no.
But see, you've added a layer to the question you just asked me about why my worship is pure as well, because I've remember I said I wanted to be Beyonce. I had to surrender that stuff. Yeah. Like, I had to submit and I had to say, okay, God, like, I'm just going to be what you want me to be. Now, of course, I've sang for like weddings and stuff. I even did a gig one time at a hotel, we were singing, and I was so convicted. I said, this is not for me. Yeah. And it's because, I want to remain pure so that God can get the full glory, and that's yeah.
It's crazy how, like, sometimes I feel like worship is I feel like right now worship can be, I feel like, a little show offy, and that's just because of the generation that's not. And it's weird because I'm only 28, and for me saying that, I feel old as I don't know what.
Right.
But I grew up in that. I grew up in a Black Puerto Rican church.
Oh, I love it.
So it's I remember, like, we worship is 3 hours long. Oh, yeah. Pastor not even preaching because he's knocked out in the corner.
Period.
Crying in tears. And I remember I remember getting oil put on me. They don't do that nowadays.
Right, and it drips down.
Yeah, they don't. I'm used to all that. So for me, I feel like the up and coming worship leaders of our day, I feel like sometimes miss that. Yep. And they're like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're cool, you got Dior on. Cool, you got Louis Vuitton on. Be drippy. No, but if the oil ain't falling on you, then the drip don't matter. Right. And for me, like, that's why I love the way you worship. There's only a few people that I actually listen to this in the car. There's only a few people, and actually can, like, worship.
Yeah.
Because I actually got to know the people behind this off the stage. And it's like, we all have we all need help. Oh. But the worship is real. The worship is pure. Israel Hahn forever would be my favorite artist. Yeah. But there's only a few people, like, and you were one of them. I actually got to know who you were a few years back.
Okay.
I got to know there was a Freedom. They sent it to me that, hey, we're playing this song, and I'm like, yo, this girl right here is singing this song. And I was like, no, this was when you were with something else. I didn't know who you were. I never knew who you were. This was like my worship leader at the moment. He sent us, he said, hey, NEMO, we playing this song. And I'm like, oh, Freedom, cool, no problem. I know that song. No, we playing it that way. I said, hold up.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, yo, this lady is singing. Hold up. Pause. I need to rewind that because that's a lot going on. But so then from there, I started to see a little bit who you were. And then years later, then I'm like, Wait, she's at Redemption.
I'm
Like this is
here.
don't even make
Full circle.
this don't even
man.
make sense. And then it's like me and Ashley would say, only forget to meet. They always say, don't meet the people you admire.
Yeah.
But I've been blessed and fortunate to actually
Ah.
meet some people that I've admired, and I'm
Mhm.
like, they're actually doper than they're actually doper than, like, that's just a little bit of what they get to see of who Trinity is.
Mhm.
They don't get to see the behind the scenes Trinity, the
Yeah.
chill, relaxed, cool,
Yes.
laughing, chilling.
Always
You
laughing.
know, yeah, because the Red Worship is different.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Talking about Red Worship, how did you even get involved with Red Worship?
Okay, so well, we know Lizzie, and
Yeah.
like she was on tour with Maverick City for a while last June. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was actually still living in Florida, but we've been friends for a long time. We used to write with Maverick together and Tribal and stuff like that. And when she went on tour, she was looking for somebody to cover her position here at Redemption for a little while. And so they asked me to come in like a couple Sundays back to back. And normally I'm like, wait, I don't even know y'all yet. So why am I come like two weeks in a row? I gotta feel it out first, you know what I mean?
Facts.
But I kind of just felt immediately like, wow, like this is family. Why is this family like this, you know? And it was just so smooth. I got to know Terrence, and my first time here, Andrew and Jason, everybody, they like took me out and we went to San Francisco and just all this kind of stuff. But that I really felt at home and I felt myself, like I could be fully me here. And I was amongst people who are pursuing Jesus. And that is valuable to me, and even our pastors,
Pastor Ron has been part. I like the moment that I actually get to have a conversation. I'm gonna tell him, you've been my like night pastor since I was born. Like literally, since you've been on TV.
Right.
My dad has been watching you every single night. It was TD Jakes.
Yep.
Or it was either TD Jakes, then Ron, or Pastor Ron, then TD Jakes.
Right.
Like, and I'm like,
I remember Pastor Ron from back. I used to be a part of a conference, and we always had him back in Florida. And just a general in the faith, and not knowing that this would come full circle like this either, but just their heart for the Lord, and period. I mean, period.
Just when him walking, you can just feel this
and his love for people. I mean, I remember the first time I came. I don't usually expect the pastor to come out and like greet me and sit with me for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like people usually send their assistants to do everything. But like he genuinely, came, sat, and even like when I was here for multiple days, he would call and check on me. Hey, I just want to make sure you're not sitting in the room by yourself, And it's just little details like that. Even Pastor Hope, just as sweet as I don't know what, gave me a nickname. That's my love language, is nicknames, like right off the bat, and it just blesses me, So, Red Worship has been really special. I love that we are so diverse, and
very.
I mean, just every
very
all different cultures and all different nationalities and races
it's
and
crazy.
stuff. We're all like young adults, so super vibrant and like just zealous for God. So
I feel like this is how like Red Worship. I feel like I feel like it was the sound that the culture is missing.
Yeah.
Because we can get into real deep worship. Yep. I'm talking about strings and crying.
Right.
From there to jumping and shouting and within 3 seconds.
Right. No, it is.
Like it don't make like it just and we've experienced that on Sundays where it's like super worshipy out of nowhere. One person screams and it's over.
Gone.
No,
I love it.
And I love that. That's so dope. That like and you just recently one more just came out. And it's been like man, that song is.
I told him because it evolved. Yeah. At first, I was like, I don't think this song is for me, And it wasn't about the words or anything. Like I love the lyrics and everything, but I don't know. It's just the vibe, I guess. And I felt like maybe Roosevelt or Lizzie might kill it better, but they really wanted me to do it. And the song about faith, and I just connected with it because, like I said before, I don't really sing stuff I don't believe in. So when I've seen the miracle worker, I was able to deliver it like from that place. And I think that's why it comes across so powerfully, really. Because I play it back and I'm ministered to as well. I'm just like,
that song goes, I be listening to it in the gym.
Right.
I'm like, I bet you they're probably looking at me like, what is this boy listening to? Because he be worshiping. I be jamming in there and they're like, I'm like, don't judge me. Y'all might get saved. Y'all listen to this. So matter of fact, let's play it
Right.
because
As
y'all
a
need
matter
it.
of fact.
No, but it's so
Yeah.
dope. And
Yeah.
talking about one more and all that, you're a songwriter.
Yep.
At one point, I thought I was. I don't even want to say it. I used to rap at one point.
Really?
So I thought I was. No, we ain't gonna show that. Oh, that's only going to garbage can.
No proof.
No, I know what song she's talking about. But I've been fortunate to help write some worship music for a band that I used to be a part of, and yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah.
Like I got to write just a couple hooks,
Yeah.
part of a verse, and I'm like, this is no joke.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how do you feel like that's a gift? How do you feel that that gift was developed within you to start writing music? Because people can write music, but there's some people that write music.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
there's some songs that, I mean, that obviously we see your name in, and I'm like, yeah, this song is.
Dug deep for it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, there's a practical side, and then there's a spiritual side, because of course the Lord downloads, and he will show you, maybe sing this melody, or I think there's a balance, because you have to be skilled in your craft,
Yeah, for sure.
And so I started writing songs when I was little, and they probably started with like little poems. They teach you how to write poems in school, and so starting there, and then I think with the abundance of emotions that we can feel even as a child or even growing up through life, like you begin to like put paper to the pen, and like it may be roses are red, violets are blue, but you start somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
And then eventually, it develops with like your life and things that you walk through, and you want to like communicate that to somebody else. And so I've taken the time to like sit and see what I like, and how that can be communicated so that somebody else can understand it. There are so many different writing styles, but I think ultimately, if I were to wrap it in a nutshell, songwriting is coming from a place in your heart where you are now able to formulate words, and it doesn't really just come out in just the songs. I take my time in captions. I take my time in writing birthday cards and Christmas cards, because I really want to convey what my heart feels. And then as it relates to Christian songs, I want to convey the Lord's heart effectively and correctly. So we're pulling out Bibles, we're going to
Facts.
the concordances, trying to make sure we're grammatically correct, and we're politically correct, and all kinds of we got our what do you call it, not your doxology, but your just that you're correct,
Yeah, 100%.
Your logic and all that good stuff. And so yeah, I enjoy using just my brain and my imagination to say something that may have been said 100 times, but said it in a different way. And so like I said, part of it is curated by skill and just me training to be a good writer. There are elements to being a good writer and making stuff catchy, but also there's a balance of being able to hear the Lord.
It's like catchy and impactful at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's so dope. Because yeah, that craft of writing music is
and it takes a while, because I didn't start off being amazing.
Yeah.
You start off,
No, there's I get it.
Yeah, and it evolves. You learn what works and what could really use some improvement.
That's so cool. Out of everything you do, what is your probably most favorite?
Wait, as
everything from songwriting to worship and everything. What is your favorite? Like, if this is the one thing you do for the rest of, just one thing you do for the rest of your life.
That's hard.
I know it's very hard. Yeah, that's
that's hard.
What's your?
I feel like I use them all
together.
Yeah, they work together. Even fashion, because now I love this. Jay Bolin, he's a celebrity fashion stylist and designer, what have you, and he always says like something to the effect of fashion is like prophetic, and it's you're seeing yourself in the future, and you're seeing yourself how God wants to see you, and how God sees you, and
that's good.
You being
Hold
able
up.
to no, like he goes in, and so even for me, like with fashion, I'm doing my best to make sure that on the platform, even, that it exudes freedom. I'm always in something flowy, I'm
Mhm.
always like, or if it's not flowy, it's just something that's comfortable. You're gonna see me in some sneakers because,
Come on,
it's just,
facts.
it gives me the freedom to worship and flow, freely. And so, but also, I think that we should represent the Lord in our best selves, And so I take the time to
Mhm.
say, hey, like what looks good and represents the Lord, like,
Yeah.
And so I think they all work together. I genuinely love fashion. I
No,
used to
I
like
love that.
style other people, It was very, very low
I just
key.
did that yesterday.
Did you
Somebody
really?
sent me some money. He like, brother, I need
Can
you
you
to
just
hook me
go?
up. He literally said,
Oh, that's
and
my
what did I do yesterday for
favorite.
like 2 hours? I went,
Go in the
I
store.
sent some pictures, and
Yep.
he's like, yo, like he's like, you know how to
See,
dress, and I'm like, I
yo.
just throw on stuff. I look at the color wheel, and I look
Right.
at that's it.
Right.
I look for inspiration
Yeah.
through your TikToks, Instagram.
Yep.
I love that because to talk about fashion, one
Hmm.
thing that I don't, or there's one thing that I guess bothers me
Yeah.
is why can't us church folk look good?
Right.
Why can't we wear designer? Why
We
can't we
can.
wear like
Yeah.
there's a few friends of mine that know, yeah, Pastor Ron he be listen,
Okay.
my
He
boy
be in his
Pastor know how to he be know how to dress. Sometimes I'm
I
like, Pastor,
know.
you hold up.
I
You gotta have a
know.
stylist the way you just
No, right? You would think
but he
so.
just you can just tell
Yeah.
he picks it out. And they're like,
Yes.
why is he wearing this and why is he wearing that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, why not?
Why not?
First of all,
Right.
the world is just stealing everything that we do in the first
Absolutely.
place.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with dripping out. I don't think there's
Not
a
at
problem with
all.
dressing
It's a
nice,
problem
and
when you start to glorify that,
that's the yeah.
and you are greedy with money, or you're irresponsible with your finances to where you're not giving and now you're selfish. You know what I mean? Like,
Like I'm holding back because I want to get these.
right.
It's
But
like
like ultimately he's the biggest giver I know. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or,
and I love that though. Like I love how
yeah.
our pastor, our whole church. Let me just say,
Yeah.
it, our whole church
1000%.
just I love it
Yeah,
because
we're
it's like
responsible.
I love fashion.
Oh,
But our
absolutely.
pastor preaches about your money and
Right.
being wise with your
Right.
money.
And when you tithe and when you give,
Yeah.
then yes, you get to
And
enjoy the
when you
fruit
make
of.
sure that you pay your bills and do all
Right.
like I love that and I love
Yeah.
fashion. I think to me,
Yeah.
um, I've always been honestly. I think I got into it really when I got with Ashley.
Oh
And when
yeah,
I
you
got with
had to
Ashley,
kind of,
because I wanted them,
yeah,
I
press a
always
little
been a
bit.
chunky dude, but I want to
Oh,
impress her,
I love
And,
that.
and to this day, like I'll go, what you think? And what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And
Yeah,
she'll tell me the
as you
honest truth,
should.
And
Yeah.
then like I love fashion. That's just
Yeah.
like I cut up these
Same.
pants and I do
Right.
little things
I
like
love
that.
it.
I'll look at how does this look? How does that look?
Right.
And
And
especially
always
like
improving it.
and
I'm
improve,
always
and
a
then
teacher.
especially for you, like you're
Hmm.
in front of a
In
camera
front of, and y'all
and you're in
love
front of
having
the
these cameras
congregation.
on us all the
Well,
time.
that's
And
our job. That's our
right.
job.
So
So
we got to keep it fresh.
but I love it. I love that, like you said, everything is intertwined and everything, and it's not
Yeah.
like you're overthinking the dressing and
Right.
then not thinking about the worship.
Right.
And I love that.
It's a
And you're an
balance.
entrepreneur. You have your own
Yeah.
brand.
Yes.
Can we talk
So
about that?
yes, right now it's sleeping. She's sleeping a little bit. But yeah, it's called Lives Depend on It. And that was really born. Technically, it was born out of, I was teaching voice lessons and I wanted to give my students an incentive. So it was going to be coffee mugs, but the coffee mugs cost way too much money. Like they wanted you to get
Oh,
like a minimum
we
of
know.
50.
We know.
Yeah, like $10 a hair. I was like, so this $500. And so, I was like, nah, maybe I'll put it on a t-shirt. But what happened actually with the phrase was something I had to live. As a worship leader, I was able to see people who were like driving miles and miles at my previous church to come because they knew that the atmosphere was a place that was conducive for healing. And so it was on me as the worship leader at the time to make sure that we got to a place where the Lord could just move freely and it was conducive for healing. And so I began to understand that I had to put my worries and cares to the side,
Mm.
to focus on the lives that depended on it, and so it started with lead worship, like lives depend on it, but then it evolved into every other ministry you could think of, because other people were just like, well, we could pray like lives, and we can teach like, and dance like, and preach like, and
Yeah,
love like, and
that's good.
I mean, it evolved, and I've just seen so much favor with that. So many huge names and it have worn it, and it's crossed the oceans, and I'm
I mean, you were
I'm
just, yeah, we'll get
yeah.
about, we'll get on
No,
that. But yeah, yeah.
facts.
I
But
like that. I love that phrase. Lives depend on it.
yeah,
Like,
lives depend on it.
it's funny. My boss says that a lot
Does he?
because with what we do do a lot of, especially right now, we're doing a lot
Mhm.
of upgrades to these fire alarm systems in these
Okay.
apartment buildings.
Right.
And he'll tell us, remember, lives depend on,
See
lives
that?
depend on it. And I'm
Yes.
like,
That is so
and
true.
he far from, they're not Christians, far from it.
Wow,
But
yeah.
I'm like,
But
y'all
it's
don't
the
even know what you're saying.
you have
Like,
no
y'all
idea.
don't,
It's really taking a place of selflessness and a
yeah.
place of compassion.
Mhm.
Like, it's just like Jesus, how he died on the cross, like, because of us, and so doing whatever you do with the mindset of knowing that it's going to impact somebody else, and so you would want to have a positive impact, and just being able to see like that fruit
Yeah,
of whatever you're doing, like,
that's cool.
is
What's the
awesome.
future for the brand?
So the thing is,
If
it's
you don't mind
not just,
sharing
no,
it.
I love it. It's not just about the fact. It was never really about the fashion.
It's about the message.
It's about the message.
Yes.
So if I get to prophesy a little bit, I see even a conference. And
I was about to tell you that. I was literally about to
Lord,
tell you that.
I see it. I see a lives depend on a conference where people are coming from near and far, and just being filled up on the reality that whatever you are to do it with the compassion of the Lord. I feel like the motto might be "compassion is the new fashion," but we'll see how that evolves. But I see. Yeah, I mean, obviously there will be merch and different things like that, but it just being an outreach as well, like where we're able to go out into the city and serve, like lives depend on it, and like really just be the hands and feet of Jesus in the earth,
That's dope.
because they are counting on us to know who he is really, and to have representation of the
Yeah,
Lord in the earth.
I love that because I feel like even like at my job, uh, I'm the only saved one.
Mm.
And how do I know? They've told me
Oh.
because I don't cuss.
Right,
I
right,
don't when I get frustrated, I laugh
right.
and I'm
That's
like,
the
all right, God, and I'll say that out loud.
Oh wow.
Come on, Jesus, I need your help, and they'll
Yeah.
hear me say that.
Yep.
Then when they ask me, when they, some of the older heads the OGs in
Yep.
there, they're like, "Hey man," and they're in their 50s, maybe one guy he's in the 60s. He's like, "Why are you the way you are? You're too positive. You're too this. You're too that." And I'm like, and I share with him,
Wow.
"Well, this is why,
Mhm.
man. You don't judge us, man. We be cussing, we be drinking. I'm like, for what? I don't care. Do what you do."
Right.
So if y'all don't know some of my siblings, blood siblings,
No facts.
like y'all would understand. Like
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 5 brothers and two
Wow.
sisters. So it's like,
Wow.
trust me,
Yeah.
I'm probably the
This
only
ain't
one
nothing
that's
new.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is nothing. And that's cool. I want to talk about the final topic for today,
Yeah.
which is something that I really feel you've shared with it, even with Alive with your mom about it.
Oh yeah.
Transition. You
Mhm.
said that last year you were coming here, you were in Florida. You are no longer in Florida.
I'm no longer.
You are in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And
I love it.
I want to talk about that
Yeah.
because a lot of people
Let's do it.
can say that transition. There's some transition that can be bad,
Mhm.
but no one ever talks a lot about the great things of
Mhm.
transitioning.
Right.
Like we just did a transition
Wow.
in March. We just did a
Yeah.
transition from
Wow.
Fresno
Okay.
back over here.
Yeah.
I told myself one time I moved to Fresno, I'll never move back to the Bay.
Uh-oh.
And
See that never say never,
and what
ministry.
happens a year and a half later, we're back in the Bay.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about transition.
Mhm.
You've shared a little bit about like
Yep.
you literally moved over
Yeah, across the country.
2,400 miles,
I
over
did.
3,000, just like our pastor.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
like I actually did when
Yep.
I was 17 years old,
Wow.
from Pennsylvania all the way to California.
Oh wow.
So, um, Just share a little bit about that experience of transitioning from Florida
well
to LA.
Yeah, I mean, I did share a bit about it on the live, so I'll leave out all of the some of the discomfort with it. But really, when the Lord says go, He says go. And what I'm most proud of in that season was being able to hear the Lord for myself. That was the most beautiful thing that came out of it, because I was just like, wait, this is the Lord talking to me, And so I think I shared that, my transition was born out of a series and a season of surrender and some acts of surrender. And when He released me, He said, go wherever you wanted to go. And I was just like, I ain't going wherever I want to go. I'm gonna go where you tell me to go, so that I can go where I know you're gonna be, and that you'll provide for it. But He was giving me that freedom, I feel like, as a reward. When He said wherever, I chose LA because, well, I had come to San Jose and I fell in love with y'all, of course. But um LA describes me. I was in Orlando for a long time, 12 years. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, which is still the beaches and all the good stuff. And so that, plus the entertainment world and Disney and all that good stuff, that's very me. And so I wanted to go somewhere where I could be myself, not necessarily wrapped around a job or a church per se, but somewhere I could be the fullness of me. And in LA, of course, we have mountains and the beaches, which I'm used to. The palm
they got
trees.
it all.
I got it all. But I also
weather.
have the entertainment industry, which is where I actually thrive. Not just in front of the camera, but I love to just, work things behind the scenes. Yeah. I'm very administrative and just very creative mindset in general. So I thrive in LA. I haven't even quite touched, on all the things that I'm probably going to get into and I'm wanting to get into, lots of acting and all the good stuff. Like, but I just really allowed myself to tune into the Lord's voice, and as He spoke, I followed. Like, this was cloud by, what do you say, cloud by day, fire by night. This was one of those. Okay, and I had to, because it was so, like, out of the way. My parents were super supportive. My family, my whole family. But your parents' approval, it means a lot. So especially to me, I'm really close with them, and so they backed my play. There are, of course, details that are just like, what? But I will say that the Lord provided where other people said they would do stuff and didn't do it. The Lord ultimately was like, I just let them say that and let you hear it, so that it would build your faith and that you would just go ahead and step out, Because sometimes when God says something, I know you've experienced this. When God says something, you be like, okay, maybe, but you're like not so sure how it's gonna work out, so you're a little bit scared to jump out until somebody says something, and then it's like, oh, well, I believe, now, like, because and so somebody said that they would put money forth towards and all that good stuff. They never did anything, which actually showed me that God was really doing everything. And so
that's further, a good perspective.
Yeah, it further confirmed,
You said that because they didn't come through, you knew that it was God. That was a word for me.
Look,
because if I was to be honest with you, there were some very close people to me, people that were mentors, or people that at one part of my life, I mean, meant the world to me in a sense. And they've said a lot. But when they came down to it,
right.
Hello? Hello?
No, I know.
And I love that because, that, like you said, that's when you know it's God. I'm gonna be honest, what we're doing here with just even being part of Redemption Church, this is only a church that you could dream of ever becoming a part of. Like I said, I grew up watching this guy, and I'm not saying that I'm trying to put him on a pedestal or anything,
no, of course.
But this is someone who has at one point, and even to this day, speaks into my life just by him preaching. I'm like, hold up, wait, I don't want to hear this, but I need to because I prayed about it yesterday. And then I come to church today, and then you just slap me in the face with what I was just asking God. And then there's been moments where he's confirmed things while he's preaching,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'd be looking at that shit like, you here?
Yo.
She's like, babe, this is wild.
Wow.
We be leaving Sundays like, this is wild.
Wow.
And the transition even coming over here
Mm-hmm.
to the Bay in general, it was almost too easy. I felt like I couldn't find a job. For some reason, I just could not get a job in Fresno. Over a year and a half. I have manager experience.
Yeah.
I'm bilingual.
You're right.
Like, I have,
you got
like,
the
I had a lot
Yep.
of my resume.
Yep.
I had Stanford University and Stanford Hospital on my resume.
Man.
And even that didn't get me into any door.
That's crazy.
A year of not getting a paycheck.
That
living in Fresno.
Tough.
Like, I have a daughter.
A whole daughter.
Like, we got bills. Like, hold up. And the moment that I said, God, what do you, like, where? Like, this isn't working. Like, I don't know what to do. The church that we was a part of was going to hire me, but then we were going to be the youth pastors.
Oh,
and then there was some stipulations.
Yeah.
That
If
I was I was just like, hold up. Like, they were going to give me the house. They were going to give me a great pay.
Oh, of course.
All that. But then they were like, but you can't do this, 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 this. I'm like, hold up. But that's what God has called us to be. I can't, you know? So you kindly declined it, crying in the inside because you're like, because at this point, the house that we were living in, we were part of it. We were doing, helping my parents with a ministry. Nice. They had sold the building. Oh. They sold the whole property. So we're like, you already know the countdown is coming.
Right.
When we got to move. And the moment that I said, God, where do you want us to go? And my parents had already moved back over here at this point. And I didn't want to move. I was like, this is my time to not be with them, not be around them.
Right.
Like, this is my time to do Nehemiah.
Right. Finally,
and then we came to visit Redemption on a Sunday. That we were down here visiting my parents. And Pastor Ron has said something in the words of transitioning and you know this is the place you belong. And I'm like, hold up. He ain't saying that to me. He's saying that to them. Because they crying, I'm not. You know? Like, and then the moment I said, all right, God, if it's for us to go back to the Bay, I need you to open doors. Mm-hmm. And I know God giggles when I speak. So he giggled and he opened a lot of doors. He opened I said, Lord, I don't want to live with my parents. Open the door. One of my parents, my dad used to pastor a church here, and the lady that lived there, she ended up renovating. She's like, hey, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. I have a small house. I have a 1-bedroom house. And if your son wants it, it's everything included. Bruh. And then I was like, Lord, I need a job. I get a job. Bro. And then it's like, cool, I'm moving. Then I told Ashley, we're going to go to Redemption. We're not finna do nothing. They don't need us. They got this. They already got photographers. They have videographers. They have TZ, one of the greatest drummers. I'm never going to have to do anything. I'm going to sit on this third row and worship every single Sunday and be glad.
That lasted how long?
30 days exactly. It's all Lizzie's fault.
I'm not surprised.
I tell her all the time it's her fault. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't even know Ashley DM'd Lizzie. Or when Lizzie said, is there any videographers?
And she
Ashley just rose her hand. Oof. She put that little hand emoji. She said that. She screenshot and sent me hey, you saw what Lizzie posted? I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was like, babe, we just going to the car, so I ain't tripping. And then Ashley decides to proceed and say, not just for her, but my husband also.
Woo. That's a real wife, okay?
And we agreed on me not doing nothing. This transition is the transition of me resting finally. I've been doing ministry for the last 9 years, every single week, Ash. I want to relax.
I feel you.
Because I had a lot of joy in it, and I always did it for the purpose of that one person. I didn't care about how tired I was, none of that. Yeah. But at the point, I was just like, I have traveled 2 hours, 3 hours to get a thank you. I'm tired of doing this. The first year that we had our car, I put over 20,000 miles in 1 year traveling, helping people. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want to, can I just relax? Yeah. Like, I'll still do creative culture, and that'll be my form of ministering or my form of helping somebody. And God said no. 30 days later, I'm here, conferences here, albums being recorded, and we get to be behind the scenes. Not only do I get to meet you, Lizzie Roosevelt, which is one of my favorite preachers.
Yes.
He's one of my favorites. So when I met him, I didn't know him as a singer. I knew him as a preacher.
Wow.
And then he started singing.
So
I said,
now your mind probably blown. Oh,
so
man.
we get here, and I got to meet Andrew in like 2018, 2019, when they were doing Friday nights here at Redemption.
Okay.
And I got to meet him that way. We would always just DM each other.
Yeah.
But then, like, the moment he walks in, he's like, wait, it was you guys that are doing this? And I'm like, Lord, what are you doing? Hold up, wait.
Yo,
and then,
I love when God
and then what? April, now it's September, and we're here every Sunday. If I'm not here, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, that's how.
Like there was only one Sunday we've taken off, and that's because we were out of the city.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this does not. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be back at church.
Right.
We were gonna travel back that night. I'm going. We're gonna be at church.
Right.
And then some told me no. Just relax. And I ended up going to play drums at my friend's church.
Wow. Yeah.
But transition to me, I feel like Ashley and I's whole entire relationship has been on transition. Just literally like
I don't think we ever really get there. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I feel like it's okay to not get there. Like I already know, like there's already transition happening in my life right now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, same here.
Some things that family wise, even career wise, that are just changing for me, and I'm like, all right, Lord, you know, I'll follow wherever you go. I'm cool, but it's just it's amazing to see that, like, even in the midst of transition, God is like, His peace has been.
Oh, absolutely, like, absolutely.
For you travel a lot.
I do,
and it's like
it's crazy
for you just to move from literally like one coast to the whole other side of the coast,
and then I'm just everywhere. While that's home base, but there's a grace for it that I've received in this season, and so I feel like even though I'm called in different places, I'm called to be sent, and help steward different bodies in different areas or what have you. I have a home, and I love having a home too. Not just LA, but even Redemption being home, and I love that. When I go off, I can come back home, and get embraced like you never left. Get embraced is the best thing ever.
You travel a lot.
Oh, Lord, I know.
What has been your favorite place to lead worship at?
In Kenya. But I've not gone as a solo artist. That was back in the day when I was a BGV. But yeah, their worship was just special. But I don't know. In this season, I think anywhere where there's been, there was this, it's called Black Voices Movement. And we went to Atlanta, and it's just really anytime I'm with them, their worship encounter with just a group of young adults, millennials that are just hungry for just hungry, and all of them prophetic. They just lay you out and don't even care. It's revival like all day, yeah. And so I think it's cool always being like with my peers and and somewhere where the Holy Ghost is just moving. You know what I mean?
I remember at one point you were here. I remember you were here on a Sunday. You're like, I'm going to the UK.
No, literally.
And I'm coming right back to be here.
Right back for conference we had.
Yeah, it was the conference. I was like, she is.
I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, I have seriously, it's a renewed, like a supernatural.
There's a peace in it though.
Yes.
And that's amazing because not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ashley's like, I know I couldn't. And I'm like, send me, Lord. I'm ready.
Maybe with the Lord's
of course. And I know she's saying that just like because she's never traveled really.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
But it's like that's incredible that you can be like.
Yeah. I take time to refill, and that is intentional.
Like you said, you get to go and help stored.
Yeah.
It's not to make Trinity bigger.
No.
It's not to make Trinity more famous.
Right. No.
It's not even for you to get a bigger name. It's I'm going there. Yeah. On assignment. You say that a lot.
No, literally.
You say that every single time you're going somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
On assignment. And it's funny how Pastor Ron's preaching in a series on assignment. And it's like...
It's series right now.
It's like, hold up.
You know? Absolutely. I pray through everything. And genuinely, if I don't sense that I have like an assignment, I won't go.
That's incredible. Because not a lot of people do that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
Correct.
that's incredible. There, what place would you like to
Would I like to
in the
go?
future to
Hmm.
maybe
To
to
minister?
minister? Yeah.
I want to go to Hispanic country. Any one of them, really. I've been
Let's
talking
go to
about
Puerto
moving
Rico.
for like a month, but y'all ain't gonna let me move for like a month. But I would do it
Yeah.
just to go like learn the culture and just be around them. I just feel a heavy call with the Hispanic community. So God has done that for
You look
years.
Dominican.
But
You
that's
can
what they
pass off as
say.
Dominican.
They say that all the time.
But my brother's the same skin complexion. Yeah, I can pass off. You can pass off as
Really?
Puerto Rican too, actually, because the
That's crazy.
curly and all that.
Yeah.
So you met my mom. Her hair is nothing but
Yes.
curls.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So somewhere in a
We'll
Spanish
see.
country to
Yeah.
lead. You're actually leading this Sunday, right? In
I
Spanish.
am. Oh Lord.
I think we're gonna stay.
We're in for it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I
That's-
enjoy it.
So you would say somewhere in Spanish. For you personally, just to go get away, where would it be? Somewhere Spanish
Somewhere
is
that yeah, but somewhere that had a beach.
Yeah.
The beach is really
You prefer the beach
my
over
decompress.
something cold?
Oh yeah. I can't do the cold. It's the worst.
I find peace in cold. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Like bundling up with some hot coffee.
Just give me a coat and I'll be out there in the snow. Probably because I grew up in Pennsylvania, so
yeah,
we grew up around deer and snow.
No. I grew up in the Sunshine State and we sweating bullets all the time. But
yeah, it's hot over there. It's the humidity. That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on and being our first guest.
No, that means well.
It's incredible. You have helped. You have sang. You have led worship in some moments where it's been hard for me personally to sometimes get up and do it on a Sunday. I have dealt with I deal sometimes with mental battles. Yeah. Especially being, supposed to be the pastor of your home. And then you go into this job and just, you're carrying so much, right? I go into people's units almost every day. Yeah. You don't know what spirit, you don't know what they're carrying, True. But I'll be seeing Buddhas and I'll be seeing altars in some of these places, and I'm rebuking it immediately.
No facts.
I don't. And then I literally do this physically. Yeah. And actually, sometimes we'll walk into stores and I'm like, "You felt that?" Woo! And I wipe her off, and and people might look at me weird, but it's like I remember my dad doing that. Wow. My dad said, "You gotta wipe that off. You can't let that go on you." Absolutely. And wow. And there's been moments where I've come in here, nobody will probably even know, because I smile no matter what. I like to have a good time no matter what. But I'm struggling. Wow. And you have personally helped me through some of these moments through the way that you led worship. This past Sunday was one of those moments where you can say it was very difficult for me. Some things happened in that week that was like, like that's literally to this day that we know we had to literally readjust everything that's going on in our life. Wow. Yeah. At this moment, like literally, like, and it wasn't a good change. This was like a ouch change. And I came in here that Sunday, and I'm like, I do not want. Last week, I promise you, I didn't go sleep till 4 a.m. that night. My goodness. And I'm like, I do not want to come in here. Yeah. And do this. I just wanted to. I was literally gonna text Nia and be like, "Hey, we gonna come for the second service." Right. And Ashley's gonna do it. I'm not. Yeah. But something told me, and I knew it was the Holy Spirit telling me, "No, just go." And both services, that second service
took us
hit me. Yeah. And I want to say thank you for also being a voice, and being a voice to shifting the culture that we live in today. By your yes. I know it's changed a lot of lives. Yeah. I mean, you've reposted tons of people, and I know that they've all been touched by the way that you've led, because, like I said, it's pure. Yeah. And like you said, there's something, I worship from a place. Yeah. And I love that. And thank you for that. Thank you for your yes, because your yes has only just helped my family, but I know it's helped tons of ladies, men, families, houses. And thank you for that. And also thank you for coming on to Creative Culture, being our officially first guest. That is so cool. And thank you so much for coming on. And to end it, I would like for you to maybe leave an encouraging word for someone who is in a place of transition, but also someone who is a young, inspiring artist, worship leader. If you can just encourage them and just don't quit. Keep going.
Well, what you just said, really. Don't
Yeah.
quit, keep going. But the scripture I always love to come back to is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, right?
Mm.
And so when those things are intact, I feel like it's easier to make it through transition, to make it through anything in life, to grow as a leader, to grow as a worship artist, or whatever capacity you serve the Lord, you know? And so when you love the Lord, it oozes out in everything. So my heart really would be to grow in your love for the Lord and with the Lord. Um, may He remind you of how He's been faithful in your life and how He's walked with you through, you know, every season, up or down. Um, even to where you are now, to this very, very moment, and how He will not leave you as He walks you forward into the next. And so, whatever your next looks like, whatever is on the other side of transition, um, as you grow in your love for the Lord, I pray that your yes and your surrender would be louder and louder, um, and that the Lord would take that and use it and multiply it and um, just bless your transition and allow you to see Him in new ways than you have ever in the previous. So, yeah. And as a creative, same thing, really. May He
Mm.
see, may you see, you know, the Lord in new ways that allow you to create from new places,
Mm.
even with fresh inspiration from the heavens itself. And yeah, and may He just receive your whole heart, and may you be fruitful for the rest of your days.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's so good.
love y'all so much. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for
It means a
for
lot.
your yes to coming on, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much. I know this is gonna. You were also requested too.
Really?
I remember. I think I told you
Oh
when I
yeah,
had
yeah.
first brought it up. You had like 5 people
That's
request.
crazy.
Yeah, because like I had posted. I was like, who do y'all want to see on Creative Culture? I
Wow.
just wanted to see. I already had a list.
Yeah.
Ashley and I have had a list for a little while now, and you were one of the first ones. You were
Wow.
actually you. It was between you and Lizzie that had. I think you guys were tied for the most people.
Really?
That yeah, like I think it was like 6 and 6 or something like that. I'm like,
That's crazy.
all right,
Right.
I guess
It makes me want to know like who was your
yeah,
audience and
yeah,
who
yeah.
like, you know.
I know you know a couple of two of them
Okay,
at least.
gotcha. They're like
Eric and
they're
Krista.
oh,
They
I
wanted to
love them
see
so
you.
much. That's so
But there
cool.
was some other ones. A couple of
Yeah.
my friends that are worship leaders. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
because they've
That's so
seen me
cool.
around you. They're like,
Oh, I
hey, you
got
probably
you.
can have her on. And I was,
Easy,
because
easy.
they said we've done a lot of your covers.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
it's a
thought it was cool
no-brainer.
too that people wanted to, that you were even requested. Like I
Yeah.
said, you were already written down on our list. So
Wow.
thank you for
I'm
coming on.
happy
And
to. I'm happy
yes,
to. Thank y'all for
yeah.
having
And you were part of. I won't say it.
me.
I
Uh
forgot I can't say that.
oh.
But you were part of a very monumental moment in their life a couple of
Really?
weeks
Oh
ago.
yes, I
Yes.
know.
So
Made me so happy, but
so
yes.
thank you guys for tuning in to another episode here at Creative Culture. This is Nehemiah, where we believe creatives like you and I can change the culture we live in today. We'll see you on